Well, guys, we got the news. Drew Brees is going to return as a New Orleans Saint for the 2020 season. Now, the reason I'm making this video so early and I'm not waiting is because I know a lot of you may not know, because today is 1, a work day, 2, a school day, 3, just a weekday in general. Not many people are on their phones really just paying attention to the breaking news, clicking on Drew Brees' Instagram, or maybe you guys aren't following NFL reporters. Drew Brees is returning for the 2020 season. He announced it on Instagram just today, about an hour and a half ago. He said this, and I quote, let me pull it up real quick. He said, "My feelings about the 2020 season. I look forward to the grind and the journey, for the reward at the end will be worth it. Love you, hashtag WHODAT Nation. Let's make another run at it." It makes me so happy, and I know it makes all of you guys happy too, to hear that Drew Brees is not only coming back, but he's going to give it his absolute all to make sure that we get what we deserve at the end of the season. Not only Saints fans deserve it, but the players deserve it just as much. We deserve that Lombardi trophy. We've been sitting here 3 failures in a row. It's time for us to finally put our foot in the door and cement Drew Brees' name in legacy in the Hall of Fame. Of course, he's going to the Hall of Fame, but people will not give Drew Brees the credit he deserves. And me thinking about it pissed me off so bad that I just stuttered. Like, it's insane. Drew Brees, even though he has statistics of the greatest quarterback of all time because of his rings, doesn't get the consideration he deserves. If we get this done this year, we'll change all of that. And that's one of my favorite things about the fact that he's coming back. He could change his outlook. He could cement his legacy among the greatest and push himself into that spot of the greatest quarterback of all time. Tom Brady nut riders will never change their opinion, but maybe some will, and their eyes will finally be open. So Drew Brees, like I said, announced on Instagram that he will be returning for the 2020 season as a New Orleans Saint. I genuinely believe that this is the best case scenario for the New Orleans Saints. If we want to make it to a Super Bowl, this is the guy that's going to bring us. Do you really believe that Teddy Bridgewater would have taken us all the way to the Super Bowl? Do you really believe that Taysom Hill would have brought us all the way to the Super Bowl? I'm not saying that either of those guys aren't good enough to do it. It's just first-year quarterbacks usually do not get that amount of success. They would have had to develop, had their share of playoff mishaps, and maybe eventually they could shoot down the road and take off running and maybe get us that Super Bowl trophy 5 or 6 years from now. But there's no way first year of the season that Taysom Hill or Teddy Bridgewater, even with this team around them, would have taken us all the way to the promised land. This is the best case scenario if the New Orleans Saints want to win a championship. And that's just that. Having Drew Brees back means a lot, but we still need to look at it in the fact that this was a very selfless move by Drew. Of course, yes, he's coming back and he will get paid, but when you think about it, Drew Brees, he took a month to decide, but he also left an entire month of free space for the front office to work with him and get a contract done before free agency even hits, so that he doesn't hit the free agent market. It gives our team an entire month to work up and build up the money to sign a player like this, to make the decisions needed to be made to get a player like Drew Brees to stick on the roster, for him to be able to get paid. So Drew will be back. He still has it. One of his most efficient seasons was last year with 2,979 yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions at a 116.3 rating. That is the highest he has ever had in his career in only 11 games. If you think that Drew Brees can't bring us to a Super Bowl, you are actually stupid and need to get your brain checked. This dude has all of the veteran experience you need. He's been to the playoff a multitude of times. Just because it hasn't panned out exactly how it needed to pan out every single time, no QB, no player ever will ever be 100% perfect in more than 3 Super Bowls. I guarantee you that. Or more than 3 playoff runs, I guarantee you that. They're not going to be 3 for 3, 4 for 4 on playoff runs to the Super Bowl. That's not how things work. Players lose. Teams lose. It happens. If you don't think that this dude, one of the most perennial passer in NFL history, can't take a roster like this all the way, we were so close in 2018. 2019 didn't have the oomph, But 2020 is a new year. If you don't think that Drew Brees still has it and can take us all the way, then you're dumb. You really are. And I'm not saying that you're stupid as in you're not intelligent. You just don't know football and you need to educate yourself. This dude is the greatest to ever do it. And if anyone's going to take us to the Super Bowl, it's him. Like I said, a very, very selfless move by Drew Brees. I could not be happier for him to be returning for the 2020 season. I know a lot of us smiled and had a great experience in our hearts when we read the news that Drew Brees is going to be returning. I'm so happy we finally got this news. The anxiousness was killing me. Let's go, WHODAT Nation. We got our guy back. Let's make this run for a Super Bowl like Drew Brees said. Now, I know that some of you guys are going to have some questions. Okay, now that Drew Brees is back, what's going to happen to Teddy Bridgewater? What's going to happen to Taysom Hill? Well, I can tell you one thing right now, and it is with utmost confidence that I say Teddy Bridgewater will not be a New Orleans Saint next year, and that's just 100% my opinion. According to U Stadium and ROTO World, which is like ABC's news website, Teddy Bridgewater is expected to have a strong market in free agency and could land a multi-year deal paying him around $30 million per year. That also came from Jay Fowler, who works at ESPN. So the market for Teddy Bridgewater is growing. There's no way the Saints can pay two quarterbacks, not only starting quarterback pay, but Teddy Bridgewater $30 million a year? No way. That can't happen. So Teddy Bridgewater will likely not be a New Orleans Saint. Taysom Hill, on the other hand, we did place a first-round tender on him. I don't think any team is going to be willing to give up a first-round pick for Taysom Hill. I think this goes into exactly what I was talking about with you guys about 3 weeks ago when I said that Taysom Hill, when I said the Saints have confirmed their starter, that Taysom Hill, that 2020 was going to serve as a transition year into 2021 where Taysom Hill will then take the throne. I think that's exactly what's going to happen, but there's a lot of things that can go in any direction if somebody just offers the Saints a ton of money for Taysom Hill that we're not willing to pay. The next thing I would like to talk about that comes along with this situation is the fact that there's no imminent need to spend a high draft pick on a quarterback. Now, a lot of people were saying we should spend the first round pick on a quarterback. We should trade back into the second round and use another second round pick on a quarterback. No, we should not trade back into the second round and use a pick on the quarterback. There's no point because we got Drew Brees now. Now the first round pick can assess the need of wide receiver. If we want, we could draft somebody in the secondary. There are so many things that we can do to address needs in the first round that don't have to be quarterback related. A lot of people were thinking because whenever Drew Brees goes, we have to draft a QB and develop them. No. Now we do not, at least not for another year, especially if we can retain Taysom Hill throughout 2021. So that's what I think about that. I think it's going to be a big help for the New Orleans Saints to be able to draft a wide receiver and not have to focus on a quarterback. But now I want to look at something, and I know this video has been all over the place because I just got back from school and I'm trying to cover everything, but I want to talk to you guys about the players that we still have under contract for the 2020 season because I know some of you may think we're not the same team as we were last year. We don't have any stars. Well, listen to this. Sounds like Brees is back for the Saints. Also under contract for 2020 on the offense, you have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Teron Armstead, Eric McCoy, Larry Warford, Ryan Ramczyk, Latavius Murray. You have all of these players that we have on the offense. On the defense, you have Sheldon Rankins, Malcolm Brown, Cameron Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins, Marcus Williams, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So many players. The Saints are set up very well to go on a deep playoff run and hit this Super Bowl hard. We will be healthy. Next year's a fresh start. I'm hoping this draft class can be as good as draft classes in years past. I'm hoping some teams collapse, and I'm hoping that this team can get the first round bye, get the first seed, take off running, and get to the Super Bowl. We got to make it out of the NFC and just do it. We just got to do it. So, we got Drew Brees back. I'm not even going to talk anymore. Having this dude back is it just takes so much pressure off my shoulders. I don't really have to anticipate yet who will be the next heir of the New Orleans Saints. Right now, Drew Brees is our guy, And just like any other year, I could not be happier to say that. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you stopping by. I know it was a little bit all over the place. I'm not the best at covering breaking news. I was getting really good at it back in December when we were having Janoris Jenkins getting signed and we signed DJ Swearinger. I was hitting the nail on the head. But it's been a minute. So thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I'm sorry it was all over the place. I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace out.